Welcome to Below the 49th, my perspective of my neighbor to the south below the 49th. I'm Michael A. Charbon. Dateline is Sunday, August the 16th, 2020, and today's title is As Long as It's Not About. In this submission, I attempt to draw attention to censorship with innuendo, basically, hinting at something without saying the word out loud. Stick with me here. There was a furniture store in the U.S., and it was called Sofa King. The furniture store, whose advertisement stated their furniture was Sofa King cheap. Finally, a blatant Canadian twist here. The award-winning TV comedy called Schitt's Creek. It starred Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara. A title that just gets away with the double entendre of not adding a simple word up and a little creative spelling. So with those examples at hand, I wish to address censorship and the power of suppression that limits what one can say, read, and post in the political arena of those living below the 49th. It's kind of my thing, right? Censorship is blatant and it's biased, but not by government. It's by huge communication monopolies who almost all reside in California, in a little valley whose name is synonymous with caulking around bathtubs. These companies, they're monopolies, and they are deeply entrenched in our collective media interaction every single day. I call them deep internal media monopolies with insular think shops, or dimwits for short. But you know the cabal I'm talking about. These are the dimwits who were called to appear in front of the Senate last week and answer a couple of questions. Well, they collectively and effectively control search engines, site postings, both political and casual, videos, streaming, independent public posts, everything. They rank search results based on advertising and a metrics that they define as conveniently prioritized for us. But remember, everything they touch is reviewed and scrutinized for our protection, of course. See, they apply their perspective of truth or what they believe is permissible on a site. Consider that these information data hubs control mass media and communication. And they control it with a self-determined, arbitrary perspective on what they perceive as boundaries of free speech, which they express as community guidelines. I love the sound of that. It's so palatable. It's nice. It's easy. It's almost homogenized, right? Community guidelines. See, it's their version of what their community considers boundaries to express opinion and free thought. Those boundaries are then influenced by a baked-in bias and a partisan positioning. It's kind of a self-determined moral and political guideline and point of view. And if what you say, post, or write does not ascribe to the dimwit's perspective, they impose you can say anything you want, except don't talk about, that. Don't say that. That rule, right? The rule that determines what is allowed or not allowed to be said or written about. The key 5 words at the crux of this discussion is as long as it's not about that, right? See, this censorship on our behalf forces some of us to speak in code so that we don't alert the thought enforcers, who thankfully protect us all from hearing things like the effects of that offensive word defund. No. We must not to refer to it as defund. We should call it relocating funds or reprioritizing funding in an alternative effort to fund disenfranchised sectors. Gosh, talk to New Yorkers about that and those de-enfranchised places, and they want lots of funding. See, you can talk about anything as long as you don't talk about that thing, You have to realize that deep internal media monopolies with insular thinking shops are self-appointed, self-regulated, self-monitored, and independent thinking organizations, making value judgments on what they think people like you and I should be able to hear or say or print within what they determine are their community guidelines. Based in California, guess off the top of your head what color they lean to, red or blue. Turns out it's a blue version of corporate PC filter enforcement. Consider audio signature monitoring, where combinations of specific words routinely trigger robots to query or take a closer look. They red flag videos and submissions like this, having personally experienced multiple denied promotions to those living below the 49th. But remember, you can say anything you want, as long as you don't talk about, that. Consider the blatant case of Heather McDonald. She's a lawyer and author on the New York Times bestselling list. and a Cambridge, Stanford, and Yale graduate. If you search her, there's a bevy of book reviews. But strangely, at one time, the world's top video aggregator banned a live stream she did. You know, when that aggregator was called out, it relented and imposed a flash page identifying controversial content and imposing an age restriction to see the content. Then a second flash page comes up asking anybody wishing to review the video to sign in. Interesting how this significant barrier was put on her and Heather's pieces, while in the same video aggregator sites, videos featuring horrific graphic pornography or malicious pieces of grave public moral concern had no restrictions, no age warnings, no click-through, you just click and go. Interesting. Further peculiarities are when attempting to see a listing of Heather's live stream, you go through over 6 pages of searches and still, where is that little video stream? You know that one little gem that was banned by the, oh yeah. For context, Heather's live stream originally aired July 30th, 2020 by the Minnesota-based Center of the American Experience. And it's now also available on Alpha News from Minnesota. And I'm not going to post the URL. You're big enough to search it out. But I strongly encourage you to. Her video deals with facts and shocking statistics which the dimwits don't want exposed. See, those statistics do not serve their narrative while vindicating an alternative perspective. Remember, you can say anything that you want, as long as it's not about, that. We really should think that the dimwits sheltering us from Heather are doing a good job. You know, she's a lawyer, graduated from Stanford, Cambridge, and Yale. You know, she probably maliciously overstepped the community guidelines. You know, what you can say about what you want? Not even close. I won't make a substantive comment on the factual statistics, the charts, and the in-depth data all delivered from public record that Heather speaks to, revealing hard percentages of material evidence, touching on incidents of those dressed in blue, respective to those they interact with of a particular pigment, or a scathing collapse of a prevalent narrative of certain movements that thinks that they matter more than others. Remember, you can say anything that you want except about that. Don't talk about that. America, be vigilant. Be aware of censorship and selective media restrictions of these idyllic perspectives that are currently being proposed by the dimwits. Further to that, to my American Facebook viewers, hope you can see this post. As you know, Facebook prevents selective below the 49th posts from being promoted to US Facebook viewers and media outlets, as they exert indiscriminate censorship, arbitrarily deciding that they will not allow selective posts of below the 49th to be promoted to you. So please subscribe, and you can receive more posts, like and share. And if you leave a comment, I always try to answer each and every one of them. And I consider all those as positive. Thank you, good luck, good health, and we'll talk to you soon. I'm Michael A. Charbon for Below the 49th.